Welcome to Sew and Tell, where sewists from fashion, theater, and indie sewing bring their different perspectives to the hottest topics in the sewing community. I'm Amanda Carestio.
I'm Meg Healy.
And I'm Kate Zaynard. Today on the podcast, we are discussing unpopular sewing opinions gathered from the sewing community, and based on ones we've shared here, we're diving in, breaking some rules, and questioning everything. It's going to get juicy. And it's all in good fun, of course. Then we'll each share a little something in our SewJo segment, and then we'll answer a listener question. But before we begin, how is everyone doing today?
Doing all right. I was just sharing a status update after our last episode. My sewing room is so clean. I changed everything, and I've actually been I've wanted to be in it, and I've been doing stuff. It's amazing.
That's awesome. Tell me, what did you decide to do with your tiled patterns?
I have two plans for those. I got some shelving to put my extra machines on, and I'm going to use the lower rack there for my paper patterns they're the printed patterns that I use all the time. And then I cleared out a flat space in my closet, actually, where I'm going to stack the rest of them. So up off the floor for the first time. It's amazing. I should probably, do my whole house, but for now, sewing room is glorious.
Sewing room's a good start.
Yeah, it's a good start. It changes a lot. How about y'all?
Yeah, I even love how you not like you you painted and painted some things that total refresh. I love that just after we
I know. Well, part of it was I got my ditto form came in, and part of it was I was like, I can't put my ditto form in this messy, terrible place that I mostly just want to close the door on. So I went deep. I still have one more painting project to do to kind of get everything up to matching again. But it's like a whole new world. Unfortunately, my kids want to hang out in there more because they helped me, and now they feel like they have a claim. But but they can. Now it's workable, and it's just really nice. I should have done it so long ago, but thank you guys for inspiring me.
Of course. Well, Amanda's recording from the office today, so I don't get a peek at it behind her. So hopefully next week or next time I'll get a chance to see it.
Yeah, I put some pics with the show notes from last time, but it's only a portion. Maybe it's time to do a little tour now that I've changed it up.
Yes.
Yeah, you should do a tour on Instagram or something. I want the full tour.
I'll do it.
Okay, that sounds good. How was your what was it? Con or convention?
Yeah, convention.
Kate? Convention, yes.
It was great. Some wonderful cosplays. Absolutely amazing things. I was just really impressed, and everyone was real cool about wearing masks, and it was just a really nice time, and I think people had fun. I did.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah. Well, what I was doing is I was tuning into the Met Gala, which is I love and it was just so I put and I can even put the link to all the fashions in our show notes too. And it was just so serendipitous this year. It was on my birthday, so I was like, "Oh, what a good birthday present!" My friends came over, and we were watching The Real Housewives while we were updating our phones. We're like, "Oh my gosh, look who just showed up on the red!" And we're like, "We love it." It was just such a good night. It was so fun, and I just love this. Night in fashion. It's just so fun. And they didn't have the Met Gala last year, so we kind of missed out on that kind of year of those, red carpet looks. And so I wanted to just ask us all, what was our favorite look from the evening?
I have one. I will share. I loved Lupita Nyong'o in the Versace denim look. That was my favorite. I think for some people it was it was hard to see the theme, and some people probably didn't even try, and that's okay. But hers for me was was on trend. It was beautiful. Y'all know how I feel about denim. It was just really fresh and new and interesting. I loved it. The whole look.
Yeah, there was a couple denim looks on the carpet, which I loved that, the take on the denim couture. I thought it was super fun. And I think because that really that's really great because the theme was really American fashion and what's kind of the iconic like jeans, denim. Right? So denim, and so that was really great for the theme.
Yeah.
How about you, Kate? Who was your favorite? Best dressed.
Lupita Nyong'o's was on my short list for sure. I really loved that one. But in the end, I think my favorite was Barbie Ferreira.
So gorgeous.
Well, you know me, I like sequins, and there were sequins and there were ropes of pearls, and then all of that turned into fringe, and it was like it was made to make me happy personally. I'm not sure how it went into the theme, but I loved it, and it was beautiful, and I'm a fan.
Yep. Stunner.
Yeah. She looked absolutely gorgeous. It was just like it just hugged all her curves, and it was just like perfectly, like, it was just I love that look. That was on my short list too.
Nice.
My favorite look was actually Jordan Alexander and Christopher John Rogers. There was two people in this designer with the same kind of look. It reminded me of a like the TV when it goes into that color, the color
color bars.
Color bars, yes. Yeah. And so both of his designs that night were that kind of color bar, but it was like the top was like a green bustier with like exaggerated like bust cones like Madonna, and I just like loved the look. And she was wearing lime green shoes, and like there was a lot more kind of up and comers in the and lots of influencers. So she actually is in the new reboot of Gossip Girl, and I love and I love Gossip Girl. Like I love the reboot, and I really loved her dress. I just thought it was so cute and just so fun, and it goes into the theme too, that kind of classic, 1950s, like that TV when it goes in the color bar. It's just I really liked it, and so that was one of my favorites. But there was a ton. I really did love a lot of the looks. So it was fun and so good to see just fashion's kind of big night,
Yeah. I don't tend to follow that event very closely, but seeing it this year, was like, oh yeah, we haven't had that in a while. It's kind of refreshing to see, and a little bit more fun. And I was probably more interested in it than I am on your average year, just because it felt like it had been a while.
Yeah, so let us know like your favorite looks too. You can comment in the show. Yeah, I'm going to put up, Vogue did a kind of like breakdown every look. And I will say the men really brought the fashion too.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, fellow Canadian Dan Levy, his look was
my gosh.
Stunning, like absolutely stunning. I thought it was so great. Yeah, so definitely check that out if you haven't already, and let us know your favorites.
Yep. Well, should we jump into the juiciness of our unpopular sewing opinions? I have so many. And yes, we also very scientifically gathered other unpopular sewing opinions from the community, and as well as our own brains and bad habits. And we're going to be just randomly sharing those and discussing those today. This is all in good fun. This is not meant to ruffle any feathers. But I love this because for me, sewing really is about kind of finding what works for you. And if that means like challenging something that you always thought you knew about sewing and finding out something new about it and discovering something, like I love that moment. Also, I'm a bit of a rule breaker, so there's that. In only some aspects of my life, but I guess sewing is one of them. So yeah, it's okay to find your own way. And I got some from my Instagram stories on my personal feed, and I'm going to share them anonymously. And I've also got some of mine mixed in, but I won't tell you which ones are mine. So high drama. Where shall we start? Shall I just pick one and we can discuss?
Yeah, just pick one.
Okay.
I see you have you have the bowl this time.
I have the power. I have the power. I learned it by watching you, Meg. All right, first one. I don't care if it's perfect, if it's wearable.
Oh, yeah.
Hard agree.
Oh, yeah. I definitely agree on that.
I don't even see how that could be an unpopular opinion because totally popular among this group anyway.
Yes, absolutely. But I will say, like, I think that in sewing in, previous times, there was a heavy focus on perfection.
Yeah.
And I feel like even when I first started sewing, I was much more of a perfectionist than I am now. And I will also say that if you're creating something for like Sew News magazine, or CME, I feel incredible pressure to make it as perfect as I possibly can. But yeah, if it's for me, it's okay. All right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, nothing I've ever made has been perfect and never will be. So there you go.
It's not possible, so why sweat it? Next one up. Sewing over pins is not a crime.
I agree. Yeah.
I agree too.
But go ahead.
I was just going to say, again, if I'm doing something on camera, I'm very conscious of sewing over pins and not sharing that. But in my personal feed and in my sewing practice, my most valuable thing is like my time. And if not pulling that pin out saves me time. Plus, I'm always wearing glasses, so safety, I think.
I mean, I only learned a few years ago that you weren't supposed to sew over pins.
Yes. Same with me.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I did it for many years, and I've kind of trained myself out of it. Unless I'll leave them in if I like have a spot that absolutely has to stay
for alignment
in that spot. And then sometimes I just forget or get bored. Or often I'll pull, if I have 10 pins in something, I'll pull 8 of them, and 2 of them I'll just sew over, and I won't realize it until I'm done. And I don't sweat it.
Yeah. If I'm matching seams or a lot of time gathering too, I leave the pins in.
Totally.
And when I'm doing like a bias, like if I'm like, there's times where if I take the pin out, I have to stop. It's just like, yeah. But.
Yeah. Agreed.
Did I ever tell you guys? I'm sorry, I'm going to go on a little tangent now. I was once sewing. I sewed it was a Victorian style wedding dress for a show, and it had this piece of trim which was basically, I guess it was sheared, but all I did was use a gathering foot on both sides. But then I pinned it on and I top stitched the whole thing on there, and the actress swore that I had missed a pin when I had at least one pin when I had been pulling the pins out where I had pinned it on before I top stitched it on, because she swore she got stabbed by it every night. And every night I would stand there scrunching it in my hand, trying to get the pin to prick me so I could
trying to feel it.
Yeah. And I never did. But she swore there was a pin in there. So see, with gathering, sometimes you can lose
drama.
Them. Yeah, definitely drama.
Yes.
I wish I had been using ones with big heads, because those are a lot harder to lose.
I will say I'm on my 3rd throat plate of my sewing machine because I don't know what it is. I just probably pins, but the needle hits the pin and then kind of gets askew and then hits the throat plate and carves into it and damages it. So yeah, that's definitely a side effect. But maybe I know my mom sewed over pins. Maybe it was more just part of the custom, more accepted back in the day. I don't know.
And here's the thing. If you sew over pins, you're more likely to break your needle. But if you're more likely to break your needle, you're more likely to remember to change out your needle as often as you're supposed to. It kind of forces you
Pretty
to
much
change
the
out
only
your
time,
needle. Yeah. I'll change it if I need it for a different kind of fabric, or if I remember that I've been using the same needle for the past 3 months, or if I break it. So there's a reason to actually sew over pins.
Yep.
Yeah, when I started sewing, I didn't know I had a window where I learned, oh, you can sew over pins. And then I was like, oh, you're not supposed, like, it was like the window where I like learned it. I was so excited. I'm like, this is great. And then it was like, oh, you're actually not supposed to. And then now I just kind of do it when I need to. It's just funny how it's like, that's just that thing that, I don't know.
Yep. But, well, let me do one more. And then Meg, let's hear from your side.
Yeah.
Oh, this one might get juicy. Ironing/pressing is one of the best parts of sewing.
I don't know. For me, it's not the best, but I don't hate I like it because it makes the seams look good.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do love when the steam comes up in my face sometimes.
Yeah.
Like if it's yeah.
Yeah, it's part of the experience.
Yeah.
I will say when I go to sew knits, I'm like, oh, I don't have to press as much. This is really nice.
Honestly, you know what?
I press some, but when I make that switch, I do realize I don't miss it quite so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it kind of depends on what you're pressing.
For sure.
Because sometimes it's like, this is the most annoying little thing that I'm pressing. I'm pressing a 1/8 inch seam allowance so I can do some random thing with it. And this is making me nuts and I'm burning my fingers. And then you get real mad. But just like pressing a seam, it's just part of the process. It's kind of like, it's kind of zen.
Yeah.
Satisfying.
It's a break from sitting. It's like, oh,
exactly.
I have to go. Yeah. For me, I only like ironing when it's during sew. If it's garments already sewn and I'm like,
God. We have a garment. Yeah, we have a garment steamer, and I'll steam something that I've already made. But oh God, I will. You have to it has to be a really, really, really special occasion for me to pull out my iron and actually iron something because I'm bad at it.
Oh, I know. I know. Yeah. It's like I don't really know how to properly iron quite a shirt.
I know. Well, I mean, you know how to iron the individual seams, and then why do you have to know how to individual
parts of it?
How to iron the rest of it? That's I don't know. It's
Yeah. And when I wash my linen things and they cut it's just they do look so much better. Bringing back out the iron and pressing a dress before I wear it. It's but it's just awful.
Such a chore.
After the sewing process, ironing is the worst. So.
Yes,
it's funny. Okay. Yeah, I did a poll on my Instagram as well, and I got some response. And I'll do what Amanda did. I'll sprinkle in my own too. Okay. So I'm not pulling them out of the bowl. I just have some. But this is one. French seams are overrated.
Agree for me. I do not love French seams. And I did some French seams on this a pair of pants that I made because they're open in the front and they kind of flap open. So if I had done the regular seams, you would be able to see them. But now the fabric is fraying in the seam, so I'm getting little bits poking out.
Oh, it pokes out from the outside. Yeah,
and
totally.
It's really annoying. But I will say, I think French seams, I know that a lot of people do French seams if they don't have a serger. So I'd say French seams are better than zigzagging over the edge. But then it's a lot of work, and I feel
so
like I'm not a huge fan. Plus, they get, I don't know, unless you're using a really lightweight fabric, they can add stiffness and structure to a seam, which is also not my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I like pressing open a seam.
Yeah,
so.
Me too.
Yeah, I like French seams for very, very specific things, and like you said, it's very lightweight, very sheer fabrics, because it's less. Well, I mean, if you can see through, it's prettier to have something that isn't just serging.
Agreed.
If you can't see through the fabric, I'd rather do serging, honestly. But, I'll do them if it makes sense, but only if it makes sense.
On the same pair of pants, I was trying to figure out how to do a French seam on a pocket. And you can do it, but it boggled my mind and I gave up. That was a good one. I like that one.
All right, I'll do one more.
Okay.
Pre-washing fabric is a waste of time and water.
I think that's yours.
I know it is.
I can totally tell. You look guilty.
I'm super guilty. I hear
you on the water thing.
It gets washed when after you first wear it. Unless it's like, I know it's going to shrink, but then I usually don't use, Sometimes if it shrinks, I'm just like, I just give it to a friend.
Yeah.
I like to wash easy wash fabric in advance. I won't do like silk or something, but a piece of linen, a piece of cotton, unless I'm making something for So News or CME, because then I don't care if it ever gets washed, because it probably won't. But unless it's my size and going to be returned to me, then I'll think at it a little differently. But I don't know. I think it's useful. I think it's good to get some of that sizing out of the fabric, and it's I don't know. I'm a fan. I do not agree with your unpopular opinion, though I think mine's probably or more unpopular than yours. Sorry, go ahead, Amanda.
Oh, I can't wait to hear.
I really do. I pre-wash all my fabrics, except for like quilting cottons. If I'm going to make like a home deck project or a quilt or like a pillow, there's not many things that I find like I do consistently in sewing, but pre-washing is one of them, because I just hate the idea of things shrinking later. And it's really, I don't know. It's just something that I do.
Yeah. Well, I'll say in my many, many years of sewing, after washing something, has anything gone like insane? Like I've never had an experience where something is like maybe once, like, and then it's like not the biggest of like, but I will say that I've never pre-washed fabric, and I maybe
probably won't start.
I'm 95% successful.
Yeah. Now, do you wash and dry your handmaids in a machine?
I think yes. Julian does all the laundry, so yes. So we wash it in a machine and we dry it in a machine. So I never hang dry anything.
Do you have a washer in your loft or in your building?
No.
Okay.
We have it in our building, but it's not very good. So we just bring it all to Julian's parents' house. But once we move, hopefully we'll have a laundry room.
You might start thinking a little bit about it, because if it's I could toss this in the washing machine while I make lunch, and then it'll be ready to go when I'm done.
I have to pay bills. I'm in all utilities included, and so once I start paying, like, I'm probably honestly not going to change, even if I have a washer and dryer in my
That's
place.
Fair, but I bet that's a large part of it.
It is, yes, it is
convenience for sure.
Yeah. But I will say, if I thrift fabric, I will wash it. That's what that is
totally.
a rule. Yes.
Good idea.
Yeah.
I do hang dry most of my maids. There's a few things that I will that I'll dry, but yeah, I don't know. I don't feel incredibly nervous about them, but I just hang them dry. Maybe it saves on our power bill, because I don't have to dry as much. I don't know.
Oh, they just come when you buy fabric. It just comes so perfectly folded, and then it fits in my little that's the way to and then I like when I press some of my yardage too, like they get full. Like it just seems like a nightmare. Anyways, so we're one and two, how should we word this? You're against it, and I'm for it. You too.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
That's okay. That's okay.
That's okay. All right.
Kate, did you have an unpopular opinion to share?
I did not come with any unpopular opinions, and I'm kind of listening and waiting for something to percolate into my head.
Oh, okay.
Okay, great. I have like a bazillion.
Okay, great. Because
here's some more.
I probably should have looked at the script before an hour and a half ago.
No, that's okay. I thought you had one that you had wanted to share, but feel free to jump in at any time. Next one up is you don't need a huge stash.
Of course you don't. You don't need a stash. Why would you need a stash?
Yeah.
You just go get fabric when you need fabric. The rest,
true.
we just kind of collect them because we're like that.
You don't need it.
You don't
but maybe
need
you,
it.
Maybe you want it. And maybe it's part of your like sewing practice to buy fabric. Like on a trip.
Yeah.
You know? You know? It's for me it's more about the collecting process than like having it and keeping it precious in my stash, I think. I like collecting.
Well, and I mean, I have a significant size stash. I'm just saying you don't need one.
No,
if it doesn't work for you to have one, then don't have one. I mean,
Yep. Okay.
that's not even, I mean, that's just, how people function.
Totally. Sometimes having a big stash is counterproductive and it's overwhelming. And I got rid of a lot of fabric when I went through my sewing room. So yeah, I like that.
Well, I'll say too, I kind of relate it to almost like your fridge. Like it's like if you like when you go grocery shopping or fabric shopping, do you have a plan and like a purpose or you just like get whatever you like and see and then figure out like what you're gonna like curate and make later?
It's so true. Like maybe you want to have some ingredients on hand.
Exactly. Maybe you don't like, I don't know what I'm gonna use this in, but I like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I need a stash. I just like how when I go grocery shopping, I just don't have a list. I don't have a meal plan. I just look and just get whatever I want and what's on sale. And then I don't know. Where Julian's more like, he likes to every day. He likes to say, I want to decide what we're having and then go to the store and just get exactly what we need for this meal. And then I was like, that doesn't sound fun. Because I'm the one who usually has to get it because he's like, he doesn't work from home. So he doesn't have like where I can just like pop out as like, because I need a break. So anyways, I guess that's now I'm just going into.
Now you're thinking about what's for dinner.
What's for dinner. But I can see this little similarity to a stash. I think I need a stash because I'm looking at mine right now. And if I like to, because I guess it's how you sew. I like to pair different fabrics and colors together. So when I accumulate things, I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, these two actually go together, but they've been, purchased years apart. And I don't know. So
yeah, make a little collection and plan around it. I do that as well.
And it's I find once I pulled my stash out, it's like a decoration piece. Like it's just so colorful and
so many shades of green.
Oh, so many shades of green.
My stash is all neutrals.
So many shades of neutral.
Moving on.
Moving on. Okay. Is it toile? Can we decide on that? Like a muslin sample that you're making?
Yeah, I
like
think
a toile?
Toile's right. Or
toile or a toile. I'm going to say toile because it sounds fancy. I say toile because you're toiling away, but I'll go with toile since it sounds fancier. Wearable toiles are the only toiles I make.
Oh, that's a good, I would agree with that. Totally. Yeah.
Kate?
No, I'm just kind of thinking through. I don't make a lot of them, honestly.
Yeah, me either.
So if you think about it, my first attempt at a pattern is basically the closest thing I have, and those are generally wearable. But sometimes it's worth it to be like, okay, this one's just going to be a piece of muslin or an old sheet or something, and and it's not going to be wearable. It's just going to be cut up later for a different thing. I don't know. I think
I will. Sorry.
I think most of the time, yes, with the occasional room for exceptions. Okay, Meg, what is it?
I will. Yeah. I totally forgot about this and I can't believe I did this. I have muslin fabric for doing these. And I made one. The only thing I've made is like my wedding jump. I made one out of muslin because I wanted to draw on it. But I remember when I first got the Pietra pants, I wanted to make, because it was kind of like the first like indie pants sewing pattern. And so I always know my Berta size in pants. And so I was like, okay, I'll make one out of muslin. And then I actually wore the muslin. I was like, this is actually really cute. And I paired it with like a white blouse. And so it actually ended up being wearable. I actually wore them as pants. They were muslin.
Like your muslin pants. I love it.
That's awesome.
I know. And I still wear they're kind of like, now they're lounge pants, but they actually like were kind of chic. They were just like this cream like pants and they fit. And I was like, I'm going to wear these. And they even had like dark thread in them, but then kind of like it peeked out from the right side because I use a cotton so I could like see the seams. And I was just like, I kept it. And then because I didn't hem them at first, I'm like, I'm just going to finish that. I'm just going to finish the hems and boom, new pair of pants out of muslin. So yeah.
I love it. I will say when I was developing the pants pattern for our plush collection, I did do a couple of muslins and did some adjustments. But for my own sewing, yeah. Maybe I'll start with like thrifted fabric or fabric that isn't as precious and like do one knowing that I'll do another version later with my actual fabric, but always with plans to wear the first one.
Yeah. Well, and I think developing a pattern is a different situation than taking an already developed pattern and sewing.
Totally. For sure. Yeah.
Ooh. I have a juicy one.
I'm excited.
I'm not that inspired by high fashion.
Hard agree. I am more inspired now that I've been spending time, looking at the fashion shows and stuff with Meg for a few years. But a lot of times I look at it and I'm like, I don't understand why anyone would want to wear this.
Okay. That one was mine. Mostly because I wanted to talk about this. Because I do think my views are changing a little bit, but usually, like my standard answer would be no, because I'm more concerned with like what you wear day to day, like really practical things. But I've actually been surprised to see so many people in the sewing community. There's been a lot of talk about the Met Gala looks, and I was like, I didn't even know y'all were that into high fashion. And I think as we do our trend episodes, it has become more interesting to me. And I think I don't know as much about the history of fashion as I should. And I know that there's reasons to like respect it and be amazed by it. And that's reason enough for it to exist. But I think on a day-to-day basis, I'm just more practical than that.
Yeah. Well, the thing I like about our trend episodes is how we can kind of talk through, here's a high fashion piece, and I would never wear this ever in my entire lifetime. But here is how I can take this trend and integrate it into the stuff that I do wear and I do sew. And that's where I've started to find it a lot more valuable since we've been doing those trend episodes. So lots of credit to Meg for helping me understand high fashion.
Definitely.
I'll definitely have to disagree with that one. I'm literally like before recording this, I'm pulling image. I'm working on like a post for Pants Month, kind of like runway pants and like sew the look so I can pair it with like a pattern and stuff. And there's some super cute ones. So I'm all for it.
Awesome. Meg, do you want to share one of yours?
Sure. I like the end product the best.
I think I semi-disagree with that one. Sometimes I do really, really love the end product, but a lot of it for me is the process. I really enjoy the process.
I would have to agree. I like them equally. Like I'm not like, oh, this sewing just needs to end. I want it. Like I like sewing it. And then I guess what gets me through the sewing is that I can't wait to wear this also. So I do love the end product, but I love the sewing process too.
Yeah.
I'd agree. About equal. I mean, I think sometimes you're making something because you actually need it and it feels more like a chore. And so you're more like I need to sew another pair of jeans or two this fall. And I'm really excited about the process, but I know once I'm in it, I'm going to be like, ready to be done.
Yeah.
But I'd say for the most part, yeah, I think I rediscovered how much I love the process by not being in my sewing room as much for the last few months because it was so messy. And now I'm like, I can tell the difference. I've been in my sewing room.
It's magical.
It's magical. Meg, do you have any more? Oh,
Kate,
do you have one?
Oh, go,
do
Kate. Go,
and
Kate.
I am willing to bet that this will be unpopular with everybody else here. But I don't like the process of understitching, but I love the result of understitching. So I am dedicated to understitching.
I love actually understitching.
Really?
I like actually, I think it's fun. I really, just like stitching in the ditch and tops, I love understitching. I really do, like pulling it to the side and like, I like understitching.
Awesome.
I will skip it. I will do it like if I'm doing a tank top and there's binding on the neckline on the armholes, I'll maybe understitch the binding on the neckline but not the armholes because maybe it's more important that it lays flat there. But I could go either way. I certainly do not love the process though. Sometimes the end result is a little bit, you can see the benefits.
I spent so much of my life before I discovered understitching, trying to turn something right on turning it right on the stitching line and just having it go it just fought me the whole way. And I'd be sitting there like trying to bang it into shape with my iron and lots of steam. And then one day I discovered understitching and suddenly it just turned and stayed there. And I was like, this is the dream. I'm living the dream.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I actually hate stitching in the ditch because I'm very bad at it. And I would rather hand stitch something than stitch in the ditch any day of the week, which I know is a highly unpopular opinion. So there you go. There's another unpopular one.
I don't like stitching in the ditch either.
I love stitching in the ditch.
I can always see it a little. It's one of those processes where it's like perfection maybe isn't possible. And I don't know.
It always looks so bad on the back. And half the time I don't even catch what I'm supposed to be catching on the back.
It's
and
true.
Then I have to go back and I have to
tack it in place.
And it's like, I would rather take 20 minutes and hand stitch it than take 15 minutes and have to correct it 4 times before it actually sits right.
Well, that's a seam. I always keep my pins in, like on the underside. I always keep my pins in when I'm stitching in the ditch, so that I know it's covering the seam. And I'm always running my finger along, making sure I can feel the ridge before I stitch that seam. What I hate doing is I hate hand tacking like facing like I have so many Intero shells where like the point here, I like after I wash it I just repress the facing.
Oh, me too. Every single time.
Hand tack at the shoulder seam. It's so annoying.
Agreed.
I am guilty of occasionally when it comes to something like the Antero shell, throwing a little bit of Stitch Witch there at the point.
That's a good idea.
I need to do that.
That's a good idea.
And just press it down permanently. And it never looks right. It always gets a little wrinkle, but I don't care because I don't have anywhere to tack it that won't be visible. So,
all right. We have a lot more to get through. And I kind of want to get to these.
Okay.
So I'm sorting them through, but let's go through the last ones
kind of quickly.
You can just let me know yay or nay.
Okay.
I am over animal prints.
I'm literally wearing an animal print right now.
I am too, actually.
I'll never get over animal prints. I love them.
I never wear animal prints except if they're like little cats. I'll wear one with little cats on it. But
yeah, I was so hardcore into it, and I'm cooling off a little bit with it now, but I still love them. Way too much importance is placed on fitting.
I would actually agree.
Yeah,
like if something, if there's a little I'm not, going back to the pattern and doing this tiny overlap and I would actually agree with that one.
I agree as well. And because think about how you buy your other clothes. Are you really, I'm ordering stuff online and hoping it fits. And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. So, but I also feel like I don't have a really hard fitting process.
That's true. That is true.
What I make is largely oversized.
Exactly.
And I'm straight sized. So there's definitely a benefit and a privilege there. But I do feel people go pretty hard.
Yeah. Some people really like it too. Like it could be the process for that. But for me, that's just I just like getting to the end result. And like if it's a blatant issue, I'll fix it. But if it's little, I mean, I would agree.
Well, as somebody who has a very odd-shaped bottom half and has a lot of difficulty finding patterns that I can make for my bottom half that fit well, I kind of disagree with this one. Though when it comes to loose-fitting stuff, I mean, I'm wearing knee culottes right now and they're fine.
Yeah.
And when it comes to loose-fitting stuff, sure, it's not that important. If you're wearing a wedding gown, the fitting there is important. I think it's very much,
for sure.
It's very much about what the garment is and how bad the fitting issue is, how important it should be.
Agreed. Next up, huge collars look ridiculous. Agree. I think
I disagree. I love a huge collar.
I mean, they're so 80s to me. That's one thing that I'm like, just takes me back to my childhood in like a bad way. Although I am I'm working on my Halloween costume in my mind. And I think I need something with a big collar. So I might need some help.
I even love like a big sailor collar, I love a huge collar. So I
cannot do it.
I mean, in the right instance, they're great. I have a costume background. Big collars can be very
costumey.
Yeah, and I mean, big collars can be extremely necessary in costuming. But that's the thing for me. It does feel costumey or high fashiony, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to me as a like everyday thing. But I don't actually have a butt. I just said butt and then stopped talking. Sorry, guys.
It sounded like you were going to have a butt, but that's okay. Next up, I am not a fan of linen. I just cannot get past the wrinkles.
Oh, I am against this.
I understand that because I have traveled with all of my linen and like that is so annoying but I think, a lot of my favorite linen things are actually probably linen blends. So that I just, pop in the dryer right before I wear them instead of ironing them. But that one hurt.
Like a good half and half linen and rayon barely wrinkles at all. And it's lovely. Just saying.
Sometimes just go out, embrace the it's gonna, once I sit down, because I sit like really like, I'm always crossing my once I move around, it's gonna re-wrinkle anyway. When I'm on vacation, sometimes if, you just take a shower or wherever you're traveling, you just hang it up after in like the steam of the shower, that works. But
apparently the linen does not, or the wrinkles do not deter my love for linen. Yeah. My love overpowers.
Well,
that
it's so comfy and it breathes so well and it's so easy to sew. And so it's got a lot of pros in addition to
a lot of pros.
So many pros.
All right. We have 2 left. This one might be juicy, might not. Inserting invisible zippers is easier than inserting regular zippers.
I would agree.
Yeah, you've had a lot of practice.
I disagree. I like I was like, I feel like zippers are something that are intimidating to me, but it's not like I've done a bazillion fly zips. Like that's hard and that doesn't intimidate me. It's invisible zippers. But I don't use them very often and I don't buy clothes with them in them. So I don't know. I don't like them.
I think they're easy enough if you have the right tool. I never
tools.
Oh. Yeah, I never try to do an invisible zipper without an invisible zipper foot, and that could be why they don't particularly bother me. I mean, I'm not like excited to do them, but I'm not like less excited than I am to do any other zipper, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
I'm very meh on zippers. I don't mind doing them. I don't love doing them. They're just zippers. They're necessary sometimes.
Yes. All right, last one. Home sewing can give you quality you couldn't afford otherwise.
I would agree with that. I actually would agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, I think it depends on what you're making.
Yeah.
Like my jeans that I made 2 pairs of jeans like 2.5 years ago, and I just fixed them, and they're still going strong. And I wear them so much, like jeans, bras, swimsuits. Like, it's still cost wise to sew. I think in some cases.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Well, and on a complete semi-different note, the other thing about home sewing is that you're not tied so much to what's in style at any given point in time. Like,
it's true.
I remember I'm really going to date myself now, but I remember one time in the 90s, I went back to school shopping with my mom, and the only things that were available, were these retro 60s things that I did not like. And we ended up having to go to like a discount store to find me any clothes that I was willing to buy for back to school. And that's something I don't have to worry about now, because if I happen to go to a store and don't find any clothes that I like, I always know I can go make something I do. So that's a nice bonus.
Totally.
Absolutely. Well, that was fun.
I feel like one more.
Oh.
And it is mine. Yeah. I have never followed a cutting layout in a sewing instructions. Not once.
It's just a suggestion.
I don't even look at it.
I know.
I think I did when I was just starting out occasionally, but I haven't in like literal decades at this point.
I usually don't. And sometimes it doesn't end well for me because I didn't pay enough attention. But I usually just do my own thing and try to make it work.
Yeah. A grain line? What's that? No, I'm just I do follow but sometimes I wrote, they don't all at least if they're straight on one of the grains, Yeah. You can get a little creative. And if I need to go just to make it fit, I'll do it.
Totally.
Anyway, I had to go that one in.
Very much great.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
I love this. I could do this all day.
We might have to do it again.
I know.
I don't even know that these were unpopular sewing opinions so much as just stating how we don't necessarily do things the way you standardly should do them.
I mean, yeah. It's unpopular is a relative term, but I'm glad to know. I feel like I know you guys well because I could almost guess what you were going to say. But I feel like there are a few surprises. I like that. I
was surprised that Meg likes understitching. I did not think that was a thing.
No, I love understitching. I love doing it. I really do.
That was a surprise. Yeah. Well, let's take a little break, and then we'll come back. We'll answer a listener question and talk about our sewing inspiration. We'll be back.
All right, welcome back. And it is time for our SewJo segment, which is the segment we deeply love because it gives us a chance to talk about what we are being inspired by. So, Amanda, why don't you start us off? What's your SewJo today?
I am currently heavily inspired by the 90s, apparently. Oh, yeah. I just made my first baby doll type dress thing, and I'm gonna make another one, and I'm embracing it, and it's inspiring me to sew and use up fabric in my stash, and I'm excited about it. I have a little capsule, and I've been trying to listen to 90s. Yeah, I've been listening to some 90s music to
you need to
get
have
inspired.
A good TV. Is there any TV shows that you need to get back
probably
into?
My So-Called Life or something.
Oh, I love that
yes,
show.
I know
so much.
I have not watched it in forever. I should probably watch it again and just fully dive deep.
How about you, Meg? What's giving you your SewJo?
Actually, I'm kind of thinking I'm a little 90s too. I want we going through some fall 2022 kind of editorial stuff, and just I'm feeling plaid-y, like a plaid shirt, and also I want to make more I want to make a new jean jacket that's all I have this like distressed jean jacket, but it's too long. I need more crop jackets. I feel like for like my frame, it just hits me weird. So I'm thinking of like upcycling it into a cropped, ripped jean jacket over a plaid shirt. I'm kind of feeling 90s a little bit too. So I might do some upcycling and some plaids. I guess I was kind of upset this morning. I went out for a walk and I was wearing like my ripped jean jacket. It's too hot. I'm kind of ready for it.
I know.
Ready
Me
for
too.
fall.
Anyways, so yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready for a scarf moment.
Yeah.
How about you, Kate?
Oh, well, I'm still struggling with my SewJo, but a couple of days ago, because of the way that our recording schedule is working right now, I was reviewing our most recent episode just a few days ago to make sure that there wasn't anything weird in it, which there was, but that's beside the point. I mean, Meg was in it, so. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. I'm teasing you. But it really kind of re-inspired me. I had gone straight to my convention right after we recorded that, and so I just promptly forgot about it. And then listening to it again made me feel really inspired to get in here and start cleaning up my sewing room. So my SewJo is, I think, going to be put on hold a little bit, so that I can kind of imitate Amanda and get the room cleaned up, organize it again, and get it to a space where I feel comfortable working in it again. And then I bet I will be more inspired by the actual sewing. So it's sewing adjacent Joe, I guess.
That's totally counts.
Okay, good.
Also, I straight up went and bought some fake plants for my sewing room. And I am so glad I did. It was like the first thing I was like, Meg's right. Fake plants. Way to go.
They're always there for you. You don't have to be like, oh, I forgot.
They don't need anything.
They don't need anything. They just want to be there.
Help
for
you
you
out.
Forever.
Right about the time the pandemic started, I was just starting to think I needed a little succulent for my cubicle. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to get a little succulent when I go back to the office. And who knows when that's going to happen. So maybe what I need is a little fake succulent for my sewing room here.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I took all my plants home.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's do our Sew and Tell segment, which at this point in time is a listener question. And I actually had a little list to choose from.
Yeah, we got some good ones.
I know. And we'll keep these in the rotation. Just because I'm not doing some of them today doesn't mean we're not going to do them. But the one that I picked today, because I had possibly the brain power for it, is, what is your ultimate dream project?
Okay. I want to make a ski onesie, I've been watching like the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and like their ski outfits, like a jumpsuit, but like a ski one that's like neon. Like I just want to make my own like outdoor, like unique ski jumpsuit. That's what I want.
I love that. Mine is that I want to start my own little business.
Ooh.
With making like one-off garments.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. I've been saving scraps for like some pieced things. I have some other ideas for like some fabric manipulation, but it's been on my mind for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I was supposed to do it this summer, and then we had a lot of family changes.
Yeah.
So that's my dream project. I'm always thinking about it and hoping to actually do it someday.
I have so many of those. Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. Well, mine's coming from a customer's perspective, honestly. But I like to go to the Renaissance Festival, and I kind of love the Renaissance costumes at the Renaissance Festival. And someday I would like to make some sort of historic, like epic historic gown. maybe not necessarily Renaissance, but something that requires a whole lot of really rich fabric. It's made out of silk or it's made out of silk velvet. And it's got a lot of, I don't know about embroidery, maybe embroidery, but a lot of like lace and little pearls and decorative stitching and all of the little doodads. And yeah, someday I would like to have the time and I guess the money to buy the materials to make like a really, really luscious and perfectly fitted to whoever it's going to go on historical gown.
It sounds like you should probably just create the Barbie Ferreira look, right? From the Met Gala?
No, I know what you're talking about. I mean,
not really. I'm just saying.
That's not what I was picturing at all, but yes, I also could do that.
You should just probably...
I should just probably make one for myself. Yeah.
Exactly. So many beads, yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. That's such a good question.
It really is. And I think it was interesting how different all of our answers were. So...
I also want to make pasta from scratch. Sauce too.
These are sewing projects.
I know. I was just thinking.
It didn't actually say that.
Oh, that's true. I want to build a studio and do so many things.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, that was such a fun episode.
Oh my gosh. I could literally go on and on and on. Yeah.
I know. Well,
we need a part 2 for sure.
We do need a part 2. Let's put it on the list. If you are still listening, thank you. Know that we have so many good things going on sewdaily.com right now. We've got our Sew Quick and Easy Volume 2 collection is live. We've got our Belford Backpack Sew Along. Make sure that you are also subscribed over at the Sew Daily Network on YouTube. We have more episodes of Stitch Lab to come, plus some new things that we're launching and Style Revive. So many things happening.
Yeah.
And just to pique your interest, October is, if you've been around here long enough to know, Pantstober.
So
we will be doing, yes.
Dang it. It was going to be so good.
It was going to be so good. Pantstober.
Pantsathon month.
It's Pantsapalooza happening. We're going to be talking about pants. I'm going to sew some jeans. Exactly. So make sure you're connected with us in all those other places. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. Now I'm thinking about all the juicy things I didn't share. Maybe next time.
Ooh. Oh yeah, that's why we need a part 2.
Part 2.
Some more. I only have fake plants in my studio.
Exactly. Popular opinion. So says us.
Oh.
All right, y'all.
All right. Bye.
Until next time. Bye.
Bye. Happy stitching.
Happy stitching.
For links to everything we talked about in this episode, go to our show notes page at sewdaily.com/sewandtell. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at sewandtellpodcast@goldenpeakmedia.com or visit us on Instagram at sewandtellpod. Answer the Sew and Tell question, tell us your SewJo, or just leave us some feedback. If you enjoyed our show, please subscribe on your podcasting platform of choice, and please leave us a review, ideally a good one, because that helps listeners like you find our podcast. And tell your sewing friends about us too. Thanks for listening, and happy stitching. Sew and Tell is a Sew Daily podcast and produced by Golden Peak Media. It's hosted and produced by Meg Healy, Amanda Carestio, and me, Kate Zaynard. Daisha Clay is our producer. Director of podcasts is Jared Mayer. Tiffany Warble is Director of Content. Kelsey Ratterman handles our marketing, and Andrea Lotz does all things digital. If you'd like more information on sponsoring or advertising on Sew and Tell, go to goldenpeakmedia.com.